Quick note before we get started. I accidentally bumped my gain. Now, it's not bad, but I do peak the mic a little bit, so go ahead and just turn your speakers down just slightly. See you in the video. Hello everybody and welcome back to Starcraft 2. Today I have a very exciting match, surprisingly sent to me by the one, the only Zesty, who is our red Zerg down here in the bottom left-hand side of the map, versus the one, the only Steadfast, our blue Zerg up here at the top right-hand side. Now, this should be a quite explosive match. Both these players, Grandmaster level, both these players stream as well. Be sure to check them out. But I know the few games I've seen between Zesty and Steadfast were very explosive. One of them today, actually. We saw a little bit of an all-in from Steadfast onto Zesty, but don't worry, Zesty, I won't tell him what happened. But I don't know the names of the maps yet. Again, you know, it's been 6 years since I've really been into StarCraft 2. But that being said, I have analyzed this map a little bit, and I will say, taking your third on this map, kind of a pain in the butt. Not because it's like particularly like different than other maps, it's just you have this wide gap here on this side, and then that also leaves like this massive gap on the other side to your natural. Sometimes the third can be tucked in to like nice convenient places where you can kind of position your army in a way that lets you, I'm so sorry, pivot, right, from one spot to the next. Whereas on this map, it's very difficult to defend all three bases, and in a ZvZ that can be a very, 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 very bad thing. Now, both players doing identical builds at the moment. We have three on gas for Steadfast, 3 on gas for Zesty as well. Now this is important because this is going to let us know whenever roughly speed is going to finish, and if speed finishes for one player before the other, you can have really, 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 really inefficient trades for the player that doesn't have speed. In fact, it can lead to an all-in, but like you can see, both players starting speed at the exact same time. In fact, both players are literally identical at the moment, which doesn't surprise me. I have a feeling at this point, ZvZ is so freaking figured out that we're gonna see pretty similar stuff for a while. Because a lot like PvP, it's like, oh my, by the way, literally meeting in the center of the map. Like, that's incredible. But as I was saying, kind of like PvP, it's kind of one of those things where if one player decides to expand and the other player doesn't, or if one player decides to commit to a bunch of units and the other one doesn't, it can be very, 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 very detrimental to whoever has the least amount of units. I will say queens help a little bit in this matchup, but again, with things like Zerglings and Roaches, queens can't really defend you that well. Ooh, a little bit of good micro there from Steadfast. Both Lings on the same HP. These guys are literally mirroring each other down to the micro they're doing. It's actually incredible. He is going to pressure that third base, not surprised. Also, Zesty pressuring the third base as well. Now, a lot of you guys might not know this, but doing damage to the hatchery is actually massive. No, as of right now, Zesty hasn't killed the hatchery by Steadfast, but the reason this is a huge problem is it's going to be on low HP when it finishes, meaning that if Zesty can now get in there and do like a significant amount of like damage really quick and then get out, that hatchery is gone, putting Zesty in a great position. Doesn't mean he's gonna do it. It's not guaranteed, but that is why he decides to sit there and go for the damage on the hatchery regardless, which, by the way, a little over half HP. All right, so we have a lot of pressure coming in here to Zesty's third. Again, same situation. You can see if he can do anything with the Banelings. He wants to try to get as many Lings as possible. If he just A-moves the Banelings, what's going to end up happening is Steadfast will release just like one Ling, and that Baneling's going to hit the one Ling. So he's got to be really quick here and on his toes. And you have to remember, during all of this Ling Bane micro, pay attention to the production tab. Both these players have to keep their macro going while keeping these Lings alive. Because if one player significantly loses a lot of Lings compared to the other, it's over because of the fact of how larva works. Oh, he did get over here, by the way, while that was going on. Got a few drone kills and is applying more damage to the hatchery. I don't think he's going to be able to get it, but getting those few drones was massive. It was an excellent run by there by Zesty. Steadfast using the Baneling Nest and now Roachhorn to sort of wall here at the front. Is that what we're going to see over here as well? It is. We're also adding an Evo chamber as well, bit of a tighter wall. So I'm pretty sure, yep, the Queen. So the Queen can sit there and this does complete the wall, which kind of protects the main and natural from those Ling run-bys. It's not bulletproof. I mean, Queens only have 175 health, but whenever they could easily just run by otherwise, it's absolutely worth doing. So we have a quicker layer coming in from Steadfast. Oh wait, no we don't. I'm lying to you. We don't have a quicker layer coming in. I was gonna make a big deal out of it because what this is gonna eventually turn into is we're gonna have mutas on the field. And depending on who controls their mutas better or finds more moments where they can actually... Sorry, my ADHD just caught something. Hold on, we gotta go back. Listen, I don't care. I don't care. My ADHD saw it, so you guys have to see it too. Remember mutas. We were talking about mutas. I want to show you this. I'm learning how to make maps right now, and you're going to see weird movement here, and this is why it caught my attention. The Zerglings do a really weird movement right here, and I was reading the Melee Ladder Bible or whatever they call it for making StarCraft 2 maps, and one of them is positioning your gases in a way that doesn't cause bad movement or like confusing movement. Watch the Lings. Oh, they didn't obey. Did Blizzard make this map, Blizzard? Did you fuck that up? All right, regardless, mutas. So mutas are a huge deal because it's hard to protect all your bases whenever mutas are flying around. That, and most Zerg units don't attack air unless you go for things like Hydralisks. And I gotta be honest with you, I might be eating my words. We don't have a Spire on the way for either player, and the layer's done for both. So I might just be eating my words right now, trying to get some more damage done, which is never going to stop, by the way. The APM, by the way, if we check this out, yeah, the average for Zesty right now, 316, average for Steadfast, almost 300 as well. ZvZ is no fucking joke because it really tests your ability to macro while doing something else. This is where Zerg comes to actually take off the training weights and see if they can macro, or if it's just because the Protoss wasn't attacking them. And you can see both these players really proving that they do know what they're doing. We have a couple Baneleys coming in here. Trades 2 for 3. Not a huge trade, but definitely worth it. What's the roach count for each player right now? We're looking at 8 to 13, whereas Zesty's building some more. They're both building quite a few. Is it just going to be a roach battle? I know used to it turned into a little bit of a roach battle, roach Ravager battle. But back then, I'm pretty sure you still went muta to a certain extent. So I wonder what has caused the change out for mutas not appearing in the matchup anymore. Steadfast going to move across the map here. I think he's going to, yeah, Zesty's going to have plenty of roaches to deal with this. Because even if he's a little bit lower here, which he is a little bit lower, I think that's pretty freaking close. We're closer to Zesty's base. That's where Zesty's larva is. So as long as he doesn't lose too many roaches, he should be able to take this out and then get even more roaches. Very nice concave from Zesty. Steadfast a little bit worse. I think he was doing a little bit of macro in the moment, which did cause him to lose the fight, by the way. Zesty's going to snowball this fight very fast. Steadfast is going to have to get out of there. Looking at the production tab, we can see both players investing heavily into roaches right now. Zesty building 6 overlords, which, I mean, mood. Completely understand it, especially when we're building this many roaches right now. Because remember, roaches are ridiculous when it comes to supply for how effective they are. I think an overlord is, what, 10 supply? Doesn't it tell you on the overlord? It doesn't. I think it's like 10, which means you get 5 roaches per overlord. It's not very many. We're going to be going ahead and morphing in some Ravengers, and both players choosing to stay on the roach tech right now. I'll be very interested to see if we get things like burrow and or what's it called, the claws, ravaging claws or something, where you can actually like move underground with the roaches. It can be very effective at getting drones when your opponent is not expecting it. Biggest divergence so far, by the way, Zesty took a 4th. Steadfast has not. And honestly, I don't know why, because both players have been trading pretty well. Maybe it's just a choice. Maybe Steadfast wants to end it now, whereas Zesty's thinking, let me set up to keep going. Both armies going to collide here. I have a feeling when it gets like this, by the way, those Ravagers are really hard to hit or see if they're actually going to hit your Roaches or not. Now, something Steadfast did there that I don't know if everyone noticed was he targeted down the Ravagers. He specifically said, I'm going to go for the Ravagers and not the Roaches. Which is surprising to me. You know, I never looked into this. Are Ravagers just Roaches? They have less HP. 18 damage, 18 damage. Okay, I think they lose some of their armor and HP in trade for the actual skill. I never paid attention to that, but it makes sense. Another Roach run by Zesty going in for the drones. I like it. Zesty on top of these run bys, by the way, which is going to pay off in huge, considering the fact he also expanded. Honestly, the longer this game goes, the more Steadfast is kind of falling behind. He is getting Overlords every now and then with the Corrosive Bile, but I haven't seen Zesty drop below 200 supply, which makes me think he's already kind of incorporated the fact he'll lose those into his Overlord count. We'll have to see. He's still at 200 even after that one. Roaches moved across on 2-1. What are our Steadfasts on? 0-1. These Roaches are significantly more potent. We're going to have to see what happens here as he does try to go up the ramp to make that happen. Now, they might have better upgrades, but finding up the ramp is never a good idea if you can get away with not doing it. A couple of Roaches being left behind here by Steadfast. Zesty, if you see this, I'd love to know if leaving Roaches behind was a mistake or if he's doing that to slow you down. We have some Biles going up into the air. Again, barely see where they're at, though, with the amount of Roaches on the field. Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure Zesty wins this fight, just from upgrades alone. Numbers are pretty similar. I will say the Concave from Steadfast was better, and it might be enough, actually, to push Zesty all the way to his base. I don't see Steadfast actually going through with a full attack, though. I mean, we're going to see a ton of larvae being used to replenish those. Ooh, we're going to use the top of the ramp to try to attack the army again. Man, this fight is going way different than I expected it to. All right, we're going to try to do this again. Oh, the Concave, though, again, fighting on the ramp, not great. The fourth is probably going to die here. I don't know if Zesty's going to be able to stop it. He does move down the ramp to try to deal with it. I don't know if this is worth it. I almost wonder if he should let the fourth die. I'm not 100% sure. He is trying to deal with it, though. The trades aren't terrible, but that ramp versus the Concave is Steadfast. It can't feel good. Steadfast now the one on the ramp. Concave in Zesty's favor, which means Zesty has both the upgrades and the Concave. And that's going to do it. Steadfast making a bad decision going up the ramp right now with the amount of Roaches still piling in from Zesty. And here's the thing. It was the fourth. The fourth and the Roach run-bys made that absolutely in Zesty's favor. Zesty did a fantastic job there against Steadfast. His Roach run-bys in the main, in the third, being able to take the fourth during all of that, whereas Steadfast wasn't quite able to find it. Fantastic game by Zesty and Steadfast. I follow you both on Twitch. I might end up in your chat. But if you guys enjoyed this and you're able to send your replay, send it to darkslayertv@gmail.com. Or just add me on Discord at darkslayertv. Whatever way you want to get them to me. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next replay.